And Blake-Tracey is the executive director of the International Coalition for Drug Awareness, whose website is drugawareness.org. She is the author of Prozac, Panacea or Pandora. Just YouTube and Blake-Tracey for the truth about the harmful psychological effects of antidepressants. Her efforts to educate people are because she cares about those who've suffered and died, and those who've killed themselves, and those who've been devastated and killed by the monsters created by the drugs. She deserves some recognition. The LDS Church is kind of responsible for helping to nurture and create the situation because of their whole leadership setup and because of their rules and how they regulate them. Remember, how we enforce our laws determines behavior. We train people one way or another. Remember George Washington? The marvel of all history is the patience with which men and women submit to burdens unnecessarily laid upon them by their governments. Well, the LDS Church government is no different. Somehow, people have let that happen. Remember, relationships are about agreements. LDS members just blindly vote for whoever gets suggested, and it's all unanimous. Just blind ignorance without knowing why. Very rarely have we seen anyone oppose until very recently. We're finally seeing a few people stand up and speak up, which is a sign of the turning point of nature seeking balance again. And it's poetic justice of how God shows up sometimes to balance out the scales when they go so far out of balance. So it appears they are also on the verge of a major transformation for the better. And basically, so are all the other groups in many other ways. From where I stand, not only does the LDS Church have the strongest influence from the Rockefeller Foundation funded and manipulated system of drug companies and their leaders, American Medical Association, but they also have the strongest influence I know from attorneys, which are the same families, especially after Ezra Taft Benson died. LDS members who are attorneys themselves have told me, if you want to go far in church leadership, just become an attorney and keep your nose clean, and you're almost guaranteed the church leadership opportunity. We can show that main theme for attorneys in state and federal government politics, such as the past presidents of the United States, with few exceptions. But this same theme runs deep as a main theme for LDS church politics among LDS attorney circles, which is not something openly shared and discussed in their regular LDS church meetings, because it would outrage all the natural health and healer type people, which are another force to be reckoned with. But both medical and legal professions are very good at keeping their own counsel by nature. And attorneys and medical doctors are promoted through the ranks, much like invisible government. There's a reason why the early colonists, who were Quakers as well as Protestants, called it the adversarial system. If you want to be an LDS church leader, become an attorney and keep your nose clean. Other states have their issues with corrupt legal cartel, but no other state is so challenged with such a majority of its influence from one church. In Utah, where most people are LDS, and where attorneys also have such a heavy influence as church leaders, in some unique ways, it had made the legal cartel in Utah the most corrupt legal cartel in the United States. This doesn't mean they are the all-around champions of corruption or overall worst in the business, because I don't have all the facts to be the judge on all that. I'm pretty sure other states have plenty of problems as well. I am what I consider to be very good friends with some legal professionals in Utah who I love as people, and even them I don't have 100% trust in because I've been abused and hurt way too much. I've seen a great deal of incompetence and corruption and have suffered through some of the worst nightmares, yet real-life experiences for myself. I realize it's the only system we've had, yet I'm one of the countless others who are standing up and speaking up against the abuse within it, against what is wrong with it, to shake all the abuse out of every area of our lives and shift it for our empowerment. We have to do it with the systems of our lives that are at our core first. Otherwise, we're just chasing our tails. For anyone who thinks I'm wrong to talk this way, as I've said before, if you can help me clearly see where I'm wrong to my recognition, I'll fix it. I've been wrong before, and this isn't about me or my ego. The laws of empowerment gives you only two options. Either wake up or go put your head back in the sand. Luke chapter 12, verse 51, Christ says, "Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division." And we already quoted Matthew chapter 10, verse 34, where Christ said, "I came not to send peace, but a sword." If the tongue is a sword, some may say that I could be worse than Hillary and Trump all wrapped up into one, especially if I experience a near miss on the freeway or similar experience where PTSD spikes up. TBI is a whole new experience for me. Our survival brain in the back of our head is there for a reason. It helps protect us. It's a quick cure for being too passive. You just have to learn to control it. Otherwise, your behavior will be too abusive. Having a black belt in tongue isn't something to be proud of. It's much easier to communicate without all the derogatory terms, without PTSD kicking in. I can tell you that much. I have known for many years that my gift of communication, which is a gift, can also be my biggest weakness, like a curse. Once I get to the point where I choose to speak up, I've never needed to use curse words to chew them up and spit them out when it comes to articulating words. Again, that's not something that I'm proud of. It's just part of who I am and how I work. And I do my best to bridle that with wisdom as much as I can, but I know I'm not perfect either. Anyone who gets to know me very well will hear me say, I am doing my best.